And so all this chaos is going around. He's got everyone's attention. Probably over 1 million people at the base of the mountain. They are staring at the top. God has everyone's attention. And this is where God really begins to share what he's all about. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 1, it says this. Then, he's got everyone's attention. Then God gave the people all these instructions. And what follows is what is famously known as the 10 Commandments. And they go something like this. You probably have heard of most of them. You must not have any other gods. You must not make any other idols. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not lie. You must not steal. You must not covet. The original 10 Commandments. Incredible, right? Now, as followers of Jesus, I think we all understand that we're no longer under the law. We're under grace. Praise God, right? Because of Jesus Christ and what he did for us on the cross, we no longer live under the power and authority of the law. We live under the grace of Jesus Christ. And that's so awesome. But that doesn't mean that we just discount the 10 Commandments. In fact, I would say these 10 Commandments, they are to be the foundation for our relationship with God. They are to be the foundation in our relationship with everyone else. So we can't just throw them away and say, you know what, I live for Jesus and Jesus supersedes the law and I don't need to worry about that anymore. No, these 10 Commandments, they are the foundation for our faith. And it's interesting, if you really notice here, and I think there's some intentionality here, is God breaks these commandments into 2 different kinds of sections. The first 4 is what I call, it's all about the vertical relationship with him. The first 4 is all about our vertical relationship with God. And then commandments 5 through 10 are all about our horizontal relationship with other people. And it's clear that God makes these 2 categories, these 2 distinctions. In fact, thousands of years later, Jesus enters the scene and he's asked another question about the commandments. And a guy comes up to him and says, what's the greatest commandment? Now, at this point, it wasn't just 10. By the time of Jesus, there was almost 1,000 commandments that the people of Israel had to follow. The Jewish people needed to follow. And so they come to him to trick him and say, what is the greatest commandment out of all of them? And Jesus looks at this guy. He says, I don't have one. I have 2. The first is this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is just like it: love your neighbor as yourself. You see, even Jesus understood that there are 2 different types of commandments from God. One is about our relationship with him, and one is about our relationship with other people. And it's always in that order. Notice the 10 Commandments, it starts with our relationship with God. Notice Jesus says the first is love the Lord your God. It's always in that order. Which brings us to this. It's important to understand the health of our relationship with God directly impacts the health of our relationship with everyone else. Let that sink in for a second. The health of your relationship with your Creator, the God of the universe, will directly impact every other relationship in your life, whether you're aware of it or not. I've seen this in my own life. When my relationship with God is a bit off, it messes up all my other relationships. Because everything flows from our relationship with God. And so when you're struggling in a relationship, our tendency is to fix that relationship, right? When we're struggling with our relationship with our spouse or with our family or with our kids or with our coworkers or neighbors or friends or whoever that is, when we have an issue and our relationship with them goes sideways, we will spend a disproportionate amount of time and energy fixing that relationship. And very few times do we really focus on probably where we need to be focused on is our relationship with God. Because many times the reason we're struggling in that relationship is because our relationship with God isn't where it should be. And so every time you are dealing with a heavy relationship problem in your life, whatever that relationship is, you should throw the yellow flag. Time out. Let's take a pause. What's going on with my relationship with God? You have a boss that you are struggling with at work. You have you and your spouse just aren't working the way you should be working together. You're struggling and you're fighting with your family. You should call a timeout. And you should say, wait a minute here. Before I try to fix this relationship, and maybe I need to look at where my relationship with God is off. And fix that first, because everything flows from your relationship with God.